The word psychology is a combination of two Greek words, psyche or soul, and logos, the study of. Psychologists today study what we do, what we think, feel, dream, sense, and perceive. In other words, it's the study of the mind. Plato was one of the earliest thinkers to tackle the question, what is the mind? Another question with ancient roots asks about relationships between body and mind. On one side, thinkers who believed in dualism, or the idea that body and mind are quite different and separate. To the dualist, our bodies are physical. Our minds are something non-physical and somewhat more mysterious. Arguing against this point of view were the proponents of monism, the idea that the body and mind are not separate. The French philosopher René Descartes was a vocal proponent of dualism. Some philosophers, including Descartes, argued that ideas and emotions were innate and inborn. More commonly, philosophers beginning with Aristotle believed that all knowledge is gained through sensory experience. Beginning in the 17th century, this idea flourished in the British philosophical school of empiricism. The empiricists viewed the mind as a blank slate at birth which was filled with ideas. Wilhelm Wundt is considered to be the first experimental psychologist, and he has also been nicknamed the father of psychology. Wundt saw mental experience as a hierarchy. One of Wundt's students, Edward Titchener, expanded on Wundt's views to establish the theory of structuralism, in which the mind could be broken down into the smallest elements of mental experience. Titchener's approach to psychology paralleled the general trends in the physical sciences of his day, such as the efforts in chemistry to break down molecules into elements, and attempts by physicists to describe matter at the level of the atom. As one of the major empiricists, John Locke, wrote in an essay concerning human understanding, quote, "Let us then suppose the mind to be, as we say, white paper void of all characters, without any ideas. How comes it to be furnished? To this I answer, in one word, from experience. Structuralism, or introspection, is the personal observation of our own thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. We often ignore because it is difficult to observe another's introspections. The subjective approach does not lend itself to a scientific method. In the last 30 years, however, revolutions in the methods used to observe brain activity have allowed psychologists to revisit the question of mental processes with much greater objectivity and success. Functionalism emerged as a new type of psychology, partly in response to the publication of Charles Darwin's The Origin of the Species. Functionalism viewed behavior as purposeful since it led to survival. Interested in restricting themselves to exploring the structure of the world, functionalists were more interested in why behavior and mental processes worked in a particular way. Structuralism came and went, but all contemporary psychologists are generally functionalists. Sigmund Freud developed psychodynamic theory. Freud managed to combine and communicate ideas about the existence of the unconscious mind, the development of sexuality, dream analysis, and the psychological roots of abnormal behavior in such a way that his theories influenced not just psychology but culture. He popularized the use of psychological principles for explaining everyday behavior, and his theories are just as likely to be discussed in your English literature course as they are in a psychology course.